what we discuss, what we dialogue for ensure say we get Salone na art and we love Salone and we want for ensure say we want to see Salone at the right direction. We all want for say and the only way we go get them through ReNIP and through we leader na so today. Of course, today is a very wonderful day. One for ensure una say we know the only can I also and go or stop, but one for ensure say we continue this dialogue and in a different form and in a very unique ways. So one for like starts the session today. Very open one. Of course, we all know say we keynote speaker, now we leader and chairman of ReNIP, a young political party headed by young person, a political party where believe in young people, a political party where get young people in our hearts. We know the struggle of young people. We understand the issues. We know how to solve the issues, and we get the plug all situation in our Salone. As you can see, the young dynamic face, very handsome and charismatic leaders who will get Mr. Blessful Williams, of course, go for address with today, and we'll go for see the kind president who won't forget 2023. Of course, after an address with today, then we'll go for sure say there's no time to waste for just going on now 2023 and then do what you feel for do. So I start with we leader and chairman today in a very unique way. Of course, we get different categories then. Of course, you self will watch you live on Facebook, you don't join with Zoom link direct Naya. Of course, you self forget an opportunity for ask a lot of questions, for type your questions in our box, for us to write on our Facebook, and for direct and to we all. Don't forget to say this now the first roadmap for recovery in Salone sessions we get today. So, my leader and chairman, first question to go to you, sir. What you plan for Salone and for the youth man them? Of course, we talk about career because we know say 1,000 young people they listen to we now, they watch we and they get your voice throughout. Of course, one for ensure say me uncle na kono, we know how speak English, or me brother na lunge, we as well one forget you clear and direct, and as well me mama na pujon or me auntie na kene mama for ensure say they get you live and direct on Creole. So the question is, what are you plan for Salone and for the youth man then?
A very good question you asked me. For make I able for let people are able to understand in full context some of the questions the way they don't send in. I say, okay, what I go do first, I go give a quick presentation. We go last roughly about 5-6 minutes so that it can able to make sure say people can understand them. The easy way to make one for do that, so at least they can able to see who side we dey, waiting our mission, waiting our aspiration, who side want for go, and waiting at the roadmap we don't create for the youth them, and not just for the youth them, but for especially the country. So I will just go through that one day quickly. Then after that, then I will go through the questions then. Pretty sure say we'll get more time for make way for do that. First of all, I just want to say again, thank you for all man that we attend today. And the way to make a glad the way people are all come. ReNIP now a vibrant party we started. We get certain missions then in anything we do, we forget mission. And some of the mission that we'll get is that we actually focus on citizens. What make we do focus on citizens then? Because we try to create a sustainable life pattern for them all. Not to just one man or a selected people or you forget a privileged background for make you able for enjoy life. ReNIP believes that we for able for create a sustainable life for all man. And in creating a sustainable life, there you get some areas that we want for looking to. We want for create job opportunities. We want for make sure say we create better health system. We need to make sure say we get new social welfare system. And not so waiting we're able for back all that, we get forget a better education system. So how you able for sustain your life? Now we believe say some of the key areas that we would concentrate on at the moment are these areas then. And ReNIP a mission we open-minded to development. What make we open-minded to development is that because I'm thinking the way we can close-minded, say when I saw things are always be done. So we open-minded, as long as we're able to achieve we go. And when we get we go for 2035, we want to industrialize the nation. For us for able to do that, we get to make sure say we ready for do that. And how we go able for ready for do that? We actually then simply say, okay, the next thing we will do, we don't get we own stages we ReNIP get for Fala. For make we able for Fala then stages there, so not to say we could just come and say, okay, well, I saw one for do, but we get for create a structure inside ReNIP. And these stages then inside ReNIP is that first of all, we get forget a branch or ward level. So when people want for can join ReNIP, then get for attach themselves to a branch or a ward. And when you then inside that branch or ward, then the next thing is that you get for able to join a constituency. So from the constituency level, then we go at district level. From the district level, we also get the district youth level, because today we talk more about the youth then. So we have to make sure say that clear as well. So we get the district youth level. And we also create the regional youth level. And then we also get the regional youth policy forum. So this now the people away they able for create and help we what will they do. And parts of that youth forum they that then get for them help for them come up to the national youth policy forum as well. So you get the regional youth policy forum, you get the national, because not to also where they affect somebody up na Kainlaon, they affect somebody na McKinney or na Kabbalah or na Canberra or na Freetong. So we they try for make sure say we get policies the way they address to all the issues there. So, and then we also get what we call the policy commissions. The policy commissioners, them now people are really looking and say, yeah, then policy are so then pit for the purpose. And for make we able for them simply say, yes, we don't ready now for push them policy there. So we get what we call a national executive committee. So the national executive committee, now we be able for look at things, we would then say, okay, yes, that this would can push down at the country. The next level we're going to then look into how ReNIP be able for achieve this roadmap. So the roadmap itself, a very simple roadmap where we come up with. The first thing we need for able to do is that first of all, we don't look the past, we don't look the present, and we get for look the future. We know say the past now bring we can at the present today, and not a good present today. So we know say the issue where the past them we don't already begin to create, we get for make sure say we attack those problems and the present problems then ain't supposed for help for the future. But we know say we're not able to change that easily, but without we able to come up with certain procedure then we will get for follow certain roads then. So for example, if you want to go now, if you want to go from Kenema to Kono, you get for follow the highway. If you say they use the bush, you can still use the bush, you go reach there. But if you follow the highway, because they don't make the road, you go reach there quicker than use the other gun. So that make we decide for come up with our own roadmap. So this roadmap, first of all, we the policy roadmap now, we get what they call the earlier adopters or pioneers then. So we get for begin the pioneer certain policies then. We get for they make sure say all what they do, they in place. And then once people are not begin to say we don't begin to do this why so, we will get mass followers then. So at that time, now we can able to push out more of the policies then, because if you look the number of youth compared to the timeline where we get, if from say from the age of 20 to maybe if you lucky 70 to 80 or 90, you get roughly about anything between 50 and 70 years for leave. But if you're not able to plan your life or make you get a better life, then we'll not believe say you're able for get a sustainable lifestyle we'll talk about. So we need to believe in that. So after the mass followers them, we can begin implement the reforms then at the country. And then reforms there also affect a lot of people where we will begin to face challenges then. And then challenges there also for the face, now get for lead with for a better life, because once they do reform, people are not going to like that. But we all know say better get for commodity. So who's the areas that will look for recovery? We first of all, we need for able for believe, we forget is self-belief and self-worth. Then the problem will lack amongst most of the youth man then. And I can guarantee you now. So then they become a serious problem. So most of them they lost the worth. So we get for reinstate that back. We get for introduce the next level education and training. This is now a massive problem, especially the training side. Most people can still go to school and not able for reading rights. Most people can still go to school, they're not able for construct one simple sentence. So this is not a serious problem, but where would they look for development? We get for attack all the issues there. So, and this was when I get for lead we now to the next level when employment and job opportunities then, because we able for dragging more opportunities than inside the country. And then we not go ever forget the health and social welfare, because if you current youth then they're not healthy or they not get any better social welfare program, this can be a serious problem. And we have to also look into the law and policies for make sure say that they also get involved in that, because this tends to be a serious problem. And then we get the resource management, where we get from able for begin to manage the resource system effectively, because most times most people are not able to do that. We don't say in the past government that problem they may get seriously, that they're not able to manage the resources in the country, so it creates more issues than it solves. And then we have to try for look into the bilateral relationship with international partners then. This was so they always use the word say no man is an island. So we they try for put that already now in our own policies. So everybody knows say until we have to begin to look for when we develop policies then. So now we have to look at the problems that we have to face, where we decide for introduce this roadmap. And the problem that we'll get for begin face is that one, and get for changes in the law, because people now we don't notice say when we come out for say something, people and they change the law quickly to able for make sure say able to do what you want to do. The other problem we will face maybe police brutality, because when you try for introduce reform, you try for introduce certain things, then this tends to be a serious problem. We know say the past government and the civil servants have been corrupt. So they're not going for easily want for introduce these changes then, this reform, because they know say the benefits from that. We got for also take into consideration that people therefore resist change. We all they resist change. We all they grow older. But still we still they try for resist that. So we therefore expect that again from other people and when they go resist change. And some people get for lack self-belief and controversial comments and get for the calm. So we get for be ready, say yes, this is not a problem the way we know say we would face, and we would try for handle that. So what we then decide for them do, we begin say, okay, let's begin look at how we go position we self. So the first way we say we get for do like look begin position with policies then. So let we organize groups then amongst our own friends then. And then we take more active role within ReNIP. And we make contribution and also take full membership card. Who's promise me go give people and we would then give something, because if you give something, you need something in return. It's just like when mama born you, mama give blood, you receive picking. So normally I therefore make sure say I give something back. So what's in my promise? I promise say we provide access to all the youth them because they are the tomorrow leaders then. So we go able to develop them. We go encourage we youth them for make them get good education and training to develop the economy. We can provide that. And I can always promise them one thing, say as long as I get breath in my body, this shall come to pass. So that then I'm on promise. And it's good for promise people, but also we get a time frame. So what's in our own time frame? We get the launch strategy. So as I said before, let we begin talk to party them with friends then, and let we try for create 7 member each group per group. So enough for be more than 7 members. Then you can get more than one group, as long as not 7 members, because then 7 members then they then get for go and find other 7 members there. So this can help you for make we promote with ideology to others, then make them begin understand what they say. And we can begin to help we can help and start leading your group. So we can develop you. So you develop the strategies there. So you can begin grow within the ReNIP pattern itself. Then you begin lead your group. And this also will help lots of way. And then you can get as many groups that you want. So we divide this into 4 phases. So each phase now 3 months, really, but you can able to achieve 1 phase or 2 phase in 2 weeks. So if you do every week, say you're able to get 7 people every 3 months, 7 people. If you then look, if you're practically able to get almost 4 groups or 5 groups, and then people in the next set go able to bring other people and come, we go able to work with we all. How we were able to achieve anything there? So because we get for able to develop a public relation and communication strategy. So how we go able to execute this strategy? One, we get for a PR strategy. We get for try to develop a media platform strategy. So a paramount for make we able for begin they say maybe something they will be able to do some editorial calendars, then we'll be able to begin encourage people and for speak now, engagements, then meetings, then conferences, then so we can schedule them, have WhatsApp forum. The other thing as well we'll be able to do, we can message by audience, so we can able to get people around we will message them, will keep them engaged. And then we therefore begin to target certain youth then in certain demographic area, because we know say youth and different, just like our adults and different. You know, you can get some poor youth, you get some middle class youth, you get some well-to-do youth then. So we therefore begin to make sure say we communicate this problem, because not so problem where they affect one group. Now very, very acute problem now the country. So now me go encourage for make we all able to look into that. So also other promotion material we're able for use, we're able for do direct communication, direct community help for the youth. So by this one, so we'll get for look at how we're able for use the strategy, the vehicle, the timing, we'll be able to get access to certain target areas, then access to self-development. Because you're not going able to do what you want to do if you not get that development, that self-development, they for achieve what you want to achieve. Because it's just like a way picking begin for worker, you might go begin only and say, tell with me, or say do certain things. So we get to make sure say all this come into play. Then we get also look into third-party involvement. So third-party involvement, this also include we can do co-marketing arrangements with companies, you know, just for help them, and then we stay as well help with. All this also sounds good, but now you go say, okay, well, we'll talk about the international partner. And international partnering now a very good way we can able for help with for make able for go across the border. Let we see which other people they do. So we need to get various branches then across countries. They also will get members then, let them set their own group, their own forums. Then you know these citizens then they face specific issues then at this country. But we past governments, then now they look into this, and they know they take this case on board. They can just leave them. It's just like normally we can use the phrase say the sheep leading to the slaughterhouse, and no one will speak for the sheep. But if you want to take the cow to the slaughterhouse, the cow will fight back. So we not like a sheep. So we need somebody who can stand in the way. We will able to do that and look into that. So, and that we also need to develop international strategies then and look at with local issues. Well, how we were able to measure with success merits? Well, like I may say before, the first 2 weeks, we for try for form the group, get at least 7 members there. And then we use another additional 2 weeks, that's 9 months. So inside 1 month, we don't get 2 groups. And that can move very, very fast. We also get for try for individually for find ways we'll be able to measure with success and failure. And we therefore also look into areas waiting at the requirements for success. So making tell saying that these are the requirements, and so we can measure them, but everybody got different level. we then they measure the level of success. So we need to make sure, say, we able for understand how people then they do their timing. And during this timing, we get the schedule where we can simply say, can you get a 12-month schedule where we need to get right now? So we work for inside 2022 because we look for cater for 2023 election where they come. And 2022, maybe the councillor and mayor election will take place. So we try for see which we able to do inside there. So still we work on the 4 task level as on based on the 4 phase level. So we can create each task, say, okay, this one, now this one for do, now this I get for do. So it became a mandatory that you can able to do that. And are you able to do that? You get to make sure, say, you stick to the timeline. And if you stick to the timeline, that's something we will all be able to achieve easily. So on that note, I will simply say thank you. And then I can now answer the question. So based on that, because now you can, people will get a clear vision of the party, which we stand for, and how we plan to do things. So the question somebody been sending, they say, how would they look for engage the youth man then? Are correct? A moderator, you mute.
Yes, exactly. How
Yeah.
we go for like engage youth man then?
Yeah, well, the youth man then, first of all, we need for, like, we don't go through the plan of ReNIP, we need for reach out to them and then get an open mind with we. So we get programs them where would they run, we can help the youth and benefits the youth them across the country. We get training programs them, we get development programs them, we get some teaching programs them, and we look for bring back basic reading and writing for help the youth them, not just the youth, but the young children, so from 12 to 18 again. So now one of the ways then they would look for do that, and would also they look, say, okay, able for engage the youth them. So maybe we introduce training program them, like we can call apprenticeship. So maybe then be taken to apprenticeship. So someone can simply say, well, I want to be a pilot, I want to be a hostess, or I want to be a nurse, but they don't know the route how for do or waiting for do. So we can able to give them the advice then they, which we can call them career advice, and then able to provide them training and day. So now some of the ways then we will look for engage the youth then.
Okay, I think say you answer that questions very correctly, and then I believe say most young people go satisfy and then want for like learn and get from you, from what you say and answering the questions then. So we go second question specifically, we try for like tell you say, so basically how we go able for young people able for like determine for win specific elections and the sports by election aspect.
If the youth then come on board, because the youth then tend to get serious problem, we may from the research we don't do. And one, because we notice that most of them, they lack self-belief and confidence. And then secondly, then can also then get financial issues. But then now then in the youth then they contribute mainly now any economy, and now they mainly can elect leaders then. So what you media simply say is that media encourage the youth then, make them can stand up, stand on the ReNIP, and we can able to devise a financial program. If somebody want for contest, we all get almost the same equal amount of money. Some people are not going to believe this. We all get almost the same equal amount of money. When adjust the way we would spend the money, they make a massive difference. So if you simply say, okay, if I get X amount of money, let's say, for example, I get $20, and then I say, okay, I want to contest. I say, okay, let me save $8. So I get $12 for spend. And then somebody will still get the $20, spend $10 on drinks and drugs, you live already get a better life as that person there. How you will say that?
Exactly.
Because you still get $12 where they use for food. And after that $12 there, you get $10. So you get for get a better food, better clothing, pass them. So not just the way we spend with cash, now make the massive difference. So make we encourage any youth we want for contest, we can able for provide a full financial training program. We go assist her. I come from that background, so not a big issue for make we able for train people.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. I think say that questions there, you'll be able for like answer them directly as well back. So one key questions where we need specific one for action today now that why make young people not considered for take leadership positions them like for dialogue na any political party?
Well, it all come back to the level of education. One, and then two, the self-belief and self-discipline and self-worth. And this is a very big issue where most people are scared for talk up or for speak up. And because they believe, say, well, if I talk, I not get the level of education, I not get the level of backings, or I not get that self-belief or self-worth. I would simply say the reason why most people are not keen listen to them is because they don't believe in themselves. But once you believe in yourself, you speak up, people are going to listen to you. They always say to me that an educated man was never born educated. He learned. And you learn by making mistakes. You know, they learn by knowing everything exactly. So me go encourage the youth then for make them begin learn, for speak up and learn from that mistake there. And you go see within 3 to 6 months, you're going to actually develop rapidly.
Okay, so this is something we know they happen for the past decade now. Why make politicians them they use youth man them for fet and destroy them company youth man them?
Well, this not to say decade, this is not a century problem. Normally, they can always use the youth for destroy another youth. A century problem, not so decade problem. The reason it's make them can use that is because certain people want for still hang on to power. Certain people want for still hang on to something. And if you put that in the political context, is that it's easier for get a youth, it got so much energy, it got so much strength, it got so much to give. So it can then easily go and try for destroy the other youth. But if you generate that energy, that power, that vigor into something else, just imagine what you will produce. Let's take a simple example. Most of you then they look for travel abroad. What do you mean they look for travel abroad? Because they get something where they want to give, but the country not allow them to do that. But then when they come abroad, then they give so much. And then they reach a certain point, then they stop. So now that time that they begin look back, say they want to go back and then country. But that time it's too late because then much not left again because you not get that much energy there. So we get for fame, we will go for the channel these energy. So me go appeal to the youth there, not for the sky for destroy the youth, but instead work together. If you look, most of the great inventions that would happen, not to older generation invent them, now young people then. Facebook, Google, space, jet. These are young people then, and then develop that. Even the guy we develop the internet, now be only 34. But nowadays in Sierra Leone, you ask somebody when a 34-year-old guy, he's not able to know what they do. So that you see, then channel the energy some side, so that they will get encourage them. Innovation. So I mean, point that one day on that. Very difficult point.
Exactly. I think so. We don't learn from you, and then other young people don't able for like learn from you. This is something we're very much touching. A question a lot of people don't ask for some times now. That's why make young people no able for like run, not get money for raise, for money for run through election purposes in our office.
Well, the reason why most youth are not able for run as a candidate for political offices because one, they no know the basic method of savings. The youth they will see not only a small percentage than a parliament, as compared to other nations then. Because we own country, if we specifically put into Sierra Leone, we own country, then they make things very difficult for youth then for go for contest. And then you get for pay you registration fee. Then you also get for do you campaign. Then you get for get you t-shirts, you get all these small things there. So it all add up. And this is not something we the government supposed for make sure so they're able to begin to provide funds. Because the governments normally they can say they go into democracy, but they want to engage the entire country. But then still and then put barriers then for people. It's just like how we get with Konole Masters. They always put barriers. So now the same thing then they do, it not change. But if you look at other country, that thing then they don't change. Then they allow, take for example, South Africa. South Africa only come out of apartheid in 1992. They have a general election in 1996. But what's in the happen? A new party can form, they don't need for pay election fees. That's where all man go able for pay. So they see say the democracy spread across the country. But then if you then you replicate that in the West Africa region, you got serious dilemma. So for me, the only advice we may go give to the youth then is that, like I mentioned before, manage your finance wisely. If you get $20 per month, you say you want for political office, at least save $8 every month. Then they go help you massively. Because remember, say, when you save that money there, you don't cut out of lots of other stuff then. You don't cut out on entertainment, you don't cut out of drugs, you don't cut out of things. I don't say drink or do what you need to do before, or moderate that. And it will give you so much energy for believe what you believe in.
Yes, this is not something when a nice questions as well. That why young people and no one for support and company young people in an election process without any money issues or any money endorsement, something like the shot.
Well, because the old guards, we call them old guards, because that they don't did it, because they don't indulge the youth then say, well, for you for vote for me, I will give money. So, but they're not getting no policies. It's just like, for example, you ask me for like give money now for go vote for me. Okay, then I give you money. Now, of course, I go cost that money. I can't give them. What do you feel say I go do back when I go to office? And that's what I get for pay. So if I get for pay that day, the money for you so can develop you, I go use them. Then we ask me, say, I'm money I give you, vote for me. It tell you point blank. Well, if you vote for a youth guy, they see they come in and bring some developments. We don't there, so we don't go, we don't develop people. We don't create areas then for people and for land training. Well, see no ministers. These are ministers, forget about the parliamentarians then, the ministers. I don't see no ministers open a center, say this is not for training development for the youth. I don't see one. So it shows but a youth can able to do that. Why? He not get for pay nobody, no debt. So the youth then get for wise up, then get for understand, because I can remember the last election where they give some people they give some people $30. So you give somebody $30 for 60 months. He say, vote me in, I will give you $30. It don't make sense. Even young pickings, if you ask him, he will do the math quickly for you. Say that what you make it, he go take 82p for month for. Because literally, and then you equate to, it don't make sense for somebody to do that. But this not what would they do? Not will be happen at the country. They take 50 cents per month, where you top up, say for you to go buy, pass that money there. Why you go sell your future for Kokoyebe? So me go encourage you them say make them begin vote for the company youth mandate. Then they all go develop together. And the other reason we may believe back say the youth them for the vote for the company youth mandate, the problem we don't get is this, is that the youth them, no one for vote for them company, man, because you see, well, you're not getting nothing, it's until it will come because the old guys, the native when they don't begin to do corruption. So he's saying, where he said, go na corruption, you want for do. But one thing we may believe is, if you get a youth man, he not go do that because you may know him, we know him did it. So if he can't come up with something, you said can go ask him, my man, who say pull up. But if he now the old guys done the day, you not go tell because everything still look normal. And then the money not in the country, then they fly the money out of the country. So now issues then this one. So the last time we get a case now Sierra Leone the way then say they catch somebody with almost not to being $200,000 of $500,000. Who say pull the money there? Where the flag out. But then the case just went quiet. So these are questions them where they come out at the public, but waiting at the results. Nobody know. So me go encourage the youth man, they'll begin vote for company youth man them.
Yes, I think say that na a very brilliant statement. We still talk about young people. So this is something very much important, and more especially in a Salone. Why is it that young people and get the zeal and get the willingness and get the strength and get the power, but yet still young people now we jobless, now we unemployed? Why?
Well, I will tell you what's not the full strategy on that. The strategy is that if you keep the people poor, they will always depend on you. If you keep you servant and poor, then you always come back for beg for job. Now I make them they keep them at that level. If you take certain, remember I simply say even within the youth them, we get different categories of youth them. We get the poor youth, we get the middle class youth, we get the rich youth. You don't ever see a rich youth unemployed or jobless. But it always go happen to the poor or the middle class because it's easier when election time reach that then can able for use them for get to their own purpose goal. But under ReNIP, one thing would simply say we concentrate mainly to give the youth them training and provide job opportunities. Just like we last manifesto, we simply say we will provide roughly 4.5 million jobs. Some people say certain jobs and they come on. But we get a strategy. We know how to open up the economy. Once the economy open up, lots of things will happen inside it. And the youth man, if anybody will not get job, let them come to me. I pay them till I left office. That's not guarantee. So me no say we able for provide our jobs there. But we know they depend for keep people in for we own personal gain. Me believe say if we use them effectively for develop Sierra Leone will blossom because they get the energy, then get the zeal, then get the knowledge, then they think fast, they're able for create certain things. And then I may believe it.
Yes, so this is another very important question as well. Why make with politicians them they use young people them as a tool, as an object, only when you come for election back, they say they call the youth man them back. Why that can happen mostly?
Well, mostly because like it's more or less that question is maybe it come from the same person, but my question we tie together. Normally what thinking do happen is that they can use them where they need them for a purpose, and after then they go dump them. And what they do that is that because they want to control them. So rather than you use the person, you simply say, okay, like you money, go do this for me, which is wrong. It's a corruption in itself. You understand? Now, very big corruption. But because that person, they don't know say I go pull that money there, they bring and come, then say, I trust you go trust the money, you get to go pay back that debt there. So if you don't give that money there, don't give all that money there, then in the left now that don't go. You get next week, I know they worry about you now because you get to go pay that debt there. But what you get for develop is that we get for develop what they call co-sharing. So everybody get for share the responsibility. You them for take care, take responsibility. At the same time, the politicians then for take responsibility. So now co-sharing we supposed to begin to do.
Okay, and these other questions are one of very important questions where I believe still most of you want for people pay attention to. We this person type for like tell we say what to make you decide for going to politics.
Well, literally, when I'm in the grow up, I don't mean get much interest in politics. I'm in the grow up and decide say I want to become a pilot. I tell mama, I say no, I not go able to do that. Because it is scared. He say for me, he says and say if you begin fly, then say something will happen. I say okay. So then I then decided for become an accountant. So I studied that. But then when I go na tongue, I see the when I'm in tongue, I then do scholarship. I then do my first degree and my master's. Then I qualify. But then I see when I go na tongue, I see the people and the struggle, and they get everything. And then life in my life not different. But something some side. And then when my then die, he actually then bring me now to that position there to make I decide for going to politics because the healthcare is so poor. So I just simply say, okay, let us see what you capable for do from that. So I make her go into politics.
Okay, I think say we don't get that they very clear now, and the person we go on for like ask why you want for kind to politics or why you decided for going to politics as well. So the other questions are that what's in your strategy or what's in your strength for lead with fine Salone?
Well, the strength is that one, me somebody way go a vision. I'm a visionary. So me want to make Sierra Leone a middle class nation. Because then by the time when we say we look for good for first class or become a Western, I think they have gone too old. So my vision of being Sierra Leone kind of a middle class. In middle class now way all man people for live comfortably. We get medical facilities then. If even say that pin will make for the world, no make the pin for the world. Now 7 billion people in the world. If, at least when they build land, then they buy that, we able for do something. Then they are believing. And my strength is that because I able for think, I able for see the future when most people in lack, I also able for organize think people am able for do management, not just people but resources as well for achieve what you want for achieve. Now most of my strength now and then.
So this is another important question. The last but not the least questions are that if you win 2023 election, basically, what are your plans in the first 100 days?
Well, the first 100 days is that from the one with the begin work, because that woman within the house, whenever for feeding Peking, you don't really care if not day 1 or day 100. So we begin work straight away. And the first point now forget first of all price control, and not to just price control, but for reduce the prices. Then, if the country for subsidize the normal staple food, we go do that. So from day 1, we go begin the subsidize and get all that for make sure say we're able to achieve what to get for achieve.
Yeah.
And then maybe that will happen in the first week or so. And then in there we then build from that. We'll get quite a lot of reform we want for bring inside. And for make way for achieve what we want to achieve, I believe so for begin implement most of them reform them then. Most of we manifesto policies then. And we the try not to say we want for just reform the country, but now for make people able to see a basic difference in their life. You get to see that one day, not to make and tell you say I don't do that one day. No, it's wrong. The proper way is that let me do, then you tell me say yes, I see the difference. If you don't see the difference, then we get problem. So within the first 100 days, that policy and then I will try for put in place.
Okay. The final questions before we end up today's session that most people can talk about with the one for kind to power plans for ensure say we keep corruption out of Salone. Because we don't see a lot of people don't talk about corruption. The when they kind of power, of course, we only see then the corrupt part all man. So as we as young people, as you as young person as well, putting your plans and how you want for like tackle for manage for ensure say corruption and
Well, I mean, a very good question nowadays. Corruption, then are all countries then. Then I can tell you now. And with corruption, most times it's associated with power and money. But then people and they can look for, they know they do the corruption themselves. Then they look for somebody for let them do the corruption with. So how corruption work? Not two-way street, not to one way. So the way we get the cash, the money, ain't going for pay somebody for make sure say it bypass the law. Because most times when corruption, the kind of now when anyone bypass the law. So now for let them benefit a certain amount of people, and whereas the masses then they go on, then they go under privilege, don't they enjoy what them for enjoy. So now the basic explanation for corruption for the layman terms. But when you want to explain more, past that. So what we see and say, we're not able to eradicate corruption 100%, but we're able to eradicate corruption 99%. That one day it's possible. And why would make I say possible? The plan we'll get is that, first of all, if you pay everybody a living wage or economic living wage, so what I mean is that you for able to live na your salary, then you go thief. Man, you 10 years. You understand? Because what you don't do is that if you don't take 6 months in your money, na kill them automatically. Because remember, say them people and then get family, and they get wife, they get picking and get for go school. So we get for make sure say we for pay you for make you live on that. So we go try to manage that, and we go open up a line that people can go inside, report corruption. If that's here more, you be part of a more, you get for be reported, and you get for face the full consequence of the law. You know, no man is above the law. So we go make sure say we put them plan there so in place for make sure say people are able to abide to that. So man go simply say, okay, and that's cool, because you know they make it the talk so now. Now so the other man they talk when reach the Hindu was past the previous one. You understand? So some man will say, well, you know, the white women you know, Pashaki saying don't kick corruption now. But what in Pashaki do? He corrupt pass all man. Then you say then the other one come. What in do? You know, then you say the other one come pull and they waiting and do. So you know, it become like a step. So what in there you get for do? We would say plan for do now create a reform, a foundation that will able for manage all things. That will make sure say that if you well paid, me not me believe say if you well paid, me not see the reason way to make policeman protect bribe. And you will bribe the policeman, now you more corrupt as the policeman. Because now you offer the money, because you don't broke the law. So the policeman for make sure say you face the full consequences of the law. But if the policeman get picking in a house, then say no, it's 2 days. You throw a bone. It's just like you get dog. We know it's 2 days. You throw a bone not gone. Man, even if that dog then I made the watch that gate. They go for the bone. You understand?
Yeah.
So I don't need to explain. But if that dog well fed, yeah, you can can't weigh the big beef safe. In fact, the way go Allah for spy you. Now you they won't go now. So because we get for you as a government get for make sure say you provide for your citizens then. And that it come back to the same resource management, financial management. Most Sierra Leoneans they lack that knowledge there. Then they create serious problem in the country. Serious problem. So we go make sure say we put them plans in a place. We make sure say we legislate against them. And one of we own points where they look, me believe say the anti-corruption, not for standalone, the anti-corruption for link with CID, because the CID then get more power past anti-corruption. Anti-corruption is only legislated, and anti-corruption now European policy say, well, get anti-corruption, then we'll go give money. Sierra Leone for depend on no other nation for cash. It's a slavery, not proper slavery. Because then tell you what for do. If you want for eradicate corruption, and I will tell you, most of the corruption will happen, not to inside Sierra Leone, they happen. Now people will come outside, cut into Sierra Leone, then bribe people them within a position them, then they take away resources, they not pay no tax. Then people then go work back for them for 2 years, they not pay them. And then the government say okay. How can they go okay? Explain to me. I don't understand, Mandy. Can you imagine? A company that's common as Sierra Leone, can America, or go to Germany, or go Canada. It simply say I want to come mine. The first thing they say, you're a citizen. You say, no, okay. Yeah, well, no, you can still mine. Yeah, you got the cash. Okay. Who is on your board? Yeah. Are you paying the minimum wage? Yeah. Are you paying tax? Yeah, as an accountant, yeah, I know how they can move things around. But literally, we got what you call transfer pricing. It's really not understanding. So you see, so now the corruption not to just say within the country itself. Now, foreigners, the way they kind of we would encourage. But we have to make sure say we control all things, we get laws them, we get procedures them. We say people they can inside and then go and not how they're able to do things. So now we plan on day for how to manage the corruption.
Yes, so we don't get another questions now with Zoom link. Of course, all the questions have been from different angles that they get them. Now, how we go able for like attract foreign investors? We believe Salone a virgin ground, and then we want for like ensure spread and in welcome foreign investors. So how you go like attract foreign investors? What's not strategies towards that?
Well, first of all, we don't need foreign investors then. We need foreign partners. So when you come Sierra Leone, they come into partnership with Sierra Leone. You're not an investor. An investor is somebody where they come or come invest on a capitalist world where you can inside for come extract. So now they call investors. So we need partners. The way they can develop the country and then work together. So how we go able to attract with partners then? We got various links. They in consultation with few people, quite a lot of companies. Then we look for say we can do partnership agreements. We get into business, and not to just say then they come for extract, but also we need what we call technological transfer. So Sierra Leone, most of these people are what they call investors. Then they are extraction and they can do. So let's stop for beginning calling investors. We might as well just call them looters. So if you ask me how can we get looters, then you not ask for friend looters then. Then I can go Israel, I can bring 5 Canada at Sunday. Why? Because they simply say, okay, well, we'll pay the minimal fees, then we go. We don't need that anymore. We youth and they suffer. Most of them some of them and then go work at their mines there so. Then still another pay them. For 2 whole years. Now in using your money now for buy food, for pay for your shelter, for buy water, look after your family still. Who say the guy they pull money? They get for do something illegal. Then after the 2 years, they say, oh, we don't go bankrupt. So they no pay them. Don't they recycle the business again? So you might as well call them extractors, not call them investors. They're extractors. We need partners. We need investors partners or investment partners. That's all we need. Over in Western world, how do they call them? We call them investments transfer. So they come extract. Even the big giant America, then go after Apple because Apple now pay almost 600 million in taxes, and then they find them 1 billion. Wow. So just imagine, in Sierra Leone, they're not able to do that because they can't extract and go. So we go able to bring the partners then can in. We'd already get them lined up. And not to just that, we also don't begin in negotiation for some of we youth man them, for let them go out, for let them go able for, gain some training them, and then try for expand on them technology skills then. So we go plans them in place.
Yes, plenty thank you for this wonderful interview today and for the starting of the roadmap for what we cover with Mama Salone. Of course, young people don't only listen to you throughout the platform and they're able for like listening throughout with different channels them. And then of course with the recording the voice notes and at specific WhatsApp forums there with the share for people not get opportunity for like go join a live on Zoom or live on Facebook. So like most of the records them and most of the questions that will come up from specific WhatsApp groups same way I get Nami platform I have with me. And I think say what we do that like continuous. And I believe so young people really appreciate you comments them, the way you respond to them questions them. And I believe so if we continue like this, they will be very much pleased with you answer and response and your willingness, you innovative ideas them and you zeal for the ensure for push Salone before. And so basically we no one for like monopolize this particular stuff. We don't get opportunities them. They don't ask them questions them. They don't participate. They don't raise them voice them. And if at all we know for like get up all the questions and they will know for like answer them today, we're going to just find another channel or another ways or means we'll go for like address all the particular questions in there. So Mr. Leader and Chairman of ReNIP, Mr. Williams, I want for like you final or overview or you take or you end up message for the young people in a Salone.
First of all, I want to say thank you to all my way attend or sending in questions then. The final conclusion I will simply say is that we as youth, then we get for come together as one and able to take care of Sierra Leone. Now we're not the future leaders then. Now, if we not come together as one now, I guarantee you we're not going to come together as one in the future. So, and practically we see what's in the happen now we country them. We see we get foreigners then now, then they invade the country, then they come in as investors, but in reality then extractors them. We don't see foreigners then in the beat we own local people them. We then they're supposed to uphold the law. Then they beat them. So we get for stand up together as one and make sure see we try for create all them forums there. So create we own small groups them. We encourage people and for let them take in membership card them and let them can join the party and they would push forward. This could help we a lot. So I want to use the opportunity again for say thank you very much to all man we attend. And thank you, Mr. Moderator.
Let's thank you and one for ensure say una listen we na various WhatsApp forums them, na Facebook and of course na Zoom. One for ensure say with the continuous dialogue here and then continue for explain to now we plans, visions, them missions them for ensure say we move Salone forward and then we continue the roadmap. Tete will meet again to another particular channel or platform. Now this particular forum, this particular platform come up from ReNIP, and we keynote speaker today. We address we no less a person but we leader and chairman, a young and handsome 2023 presidents to come, Mr. Williams. Ladies and gentlemen, Tete will meet again till we next roadmap session. Tata.
No.